Imagine living in a time when your doctor might drill into your skull to release demons or feed you mercury for a stomachache. Medicine used to be experimental in the worst ways. Here are 10 forgotten medical practices that'll make you truly grateful for painkillers, antibiotics, and the fact that we don't bleed people out for fun anymore. Number 1. For over 2,000 years, doctors were obsessed with balancing the humours, 4 mystical fluids: blood, phlegm, black bile, and yellow bile. If you were sick, it meant your humours were off balance. And the solution? Drain the excess. Doctors used scalpels, leeches, or cupping jars to draw blood from patients. It became the go-to cure for fevers, headaches, pneumonia, even bad moods. The problem? Many patients bled out or weakened so severely that they couldn't recover. George Washington himself died after doctors removed nearly half his blood while treating a sore throat. It wasn't medicine, it was medieval plumbing. Number 2. Long before MRIs or neurology, ancient healers used stone tools to drill holes into skulls to release demons. It's one of humanity's oldest surgeries. Some skulls date back 7,000 years and show bone regrowth, meaning the patient actually survived. In medieval Europe, trepanation was used for seizures and migraines. They thought headaches came from trapped spirits. Even into the 20th century, a few fringe believers promoted self-trepanation to increase consciousness. In reality, it just increased your risk of death. Number 3. From ancient China to Victorian Europe, mercury was hailed as a miracle cure. Doctors prescribed it for constipation, skin disease, and especially syphilis. Patients would salivate uncontrollably, lose their teeth, shake violently, and eventually die. But the sweating and drooling was seen as proof that toxins were leaving. Mercury ointments and pills were sold in apothecaries for centuries, even though patients wasted away in front of doctors who called it healing. We now know mercury is a neurotoxin. They were literally poisoning people on purpose. Number 4. In the mid-1900s, lobotomies were hailed as a breakthrough in psychiatry. Dr. Walter Freeman claimed mental illness could be cured by disconnecting emotion centers in the brain. His technique? Slide an ice pick-like tool through the eye socket and wiggle it around to sever neural connections. He performed over 3,500 lobotomies, often in his van, nicknamed the Lobotomobile. Patients came out docile, emotionless, or permanently disabled. One of his most famous cases was Rosemary Kennedy, whose family never recovered from the consequences. It's a haunting example of what happens when medicine trades empathy for experimentation. Number 5. During the 19th century, arsenic was marketed as a beauty and health tonic. It was believed to brighten complexions and give youthful energy. People, especially women, drank small doses daily, unknowingly poisoning themselves. Arsenic was also used in Fowler's solution, prescribed for asthma and psoriasis. Doctors noted side effects like vomiting, hair loss, and death, but many chalked it up to overuse. Even after its toxicity was proven, arsenic remained in medicine cabinets for decades, a slow, glittering killer disguised as self-care. Number 6. When radium was discovered in the early 1900s, it was seen as life-giving energy. Companies added it to toothpaste, face creams, and even energizing water slogans promised it would boost vitality and slow aging. But the most tragic story came from the radium girls, factory workers who painted watch dials with radioactive paint. They licked the brush tips for precision, unknowingly ingesting deadly amounts. Their bones literally glowed as their bodies decayed from within. It took years of lawsuits for the world to accept that radioactivity wasn't rejuvenating. It was lethal. Number 7. For centuries, dentists believed tiny worms caused tooth pain. Some claimed they could see them squirming in rotten teeth under candlelight treatments, included pouring hot oil, wax, or herbs into cavities to kill the worm. The result? More pain, infections, and often missing teeth. It wasn't until the invention of microscopes that we discovered bacteria, not worms, were the culprits. But for 1,000 years, people suffered because no one questioned the myth of the invisible toothworm. Number 8. In the 1800s, travelling doctors sold tonics that promised to cure everything from arthritis to baldness. Some bottles contained actual snake oil, which had mild anti-inflammatory properties, but most were just flavoured alcohol or mineral oil. The shows were theatrical, with shouting, dancing, and miracle testimonials. These salesmen made fortunes until consumer protection laws finally caught up. The phrase snake oil lives on as a symbol of fake science and flashy marketing, the ancestors of today's online miracle cures. Number 9. In the 18th century, doctors genuinely believed blowing tobacco smoke into a patient's rectum could revive them after drowning. They thought nicotine stimulated respiration and the bowels, a literal kickstart. Hospitals along the River Thames even kept smoke enema kits beside lifebuoys. Eventually, doctors realised nicotine absorbed rectally was toxic and occasionally fatal. Still, it stands as one of medicine's strangest ideas, saving lives with second-hand smoke. Number 10. At the turn of the 20th century, Bayer, the aspirin company, sold heroin as a safe, non-addictive morphine substitute. It was marketed for coughs, colds, and restlessness in children. Advertisements showed smiling mothers spooning it into their toddlers' mouths. Doctors soon noticed patients needed more and more to get the same effect. Classic addiction. Within a decade, entire communities were hooked. By 1913, Bayer quietly stopped production, but the damage was done. It's one of the clearest examples of how corporate optimism can outweigh medical ethics. Medicine's history is equal parts genius and horror story. For every life-saving discovery, there were centuries of wild guesses and dangerous experiments. Next time you pop an ibuprofen or get a clean injection, remember, your ancestors might have been drinking mercury, glowing in the dark, or getting an ice pick to the brain. If this trip through medical madness made you grateful for modern science, give this video a like, subscribe, and share it with someone who thinks the old days were better. Trust me, not when it came to healthcare. Thanks for watching. If this made you thankful for modern medicine, hit subscribe, drop a like, and share it with someone who loves weird history. New deep dives every week. Only on Fathom.